Did you know that over 1 million people could be directly affected by Canada's new immigration rules in 2025? What was once seen as one of the most welcoming countries in the world is now becoming a place of tougher requirements, stricter approvals, and unexpected hurdles. Imagine preparing for years, saving money, and dreaming of a new life, only to discover that the rules have suddenly changed against you. From harder language tests and reduced study permits to delays in family reunification and rising application fees, the landscape is shifting dramatically. The question is, will your plans survive these changes, or will you be forced to look elsewhere? Let's uncover the 10 shocking rules shaking Canada's immigration system in 2025. Number 10. PR pathways becoming more competitive. Perhaps the most far-reaching change in Canada's 2025 immigration landscape is the increasing competition for permanent residency. In previous years, applicants with strong education, moderate language scores, and decent work experience could secure an invitation to apply through the express entry system. But under the new rules, Canada is giving much greater weight to those with Canadian work or study experience, leaving overseas applicants at a disadvantage. This shift means that even highly qualified candidates from abroad may see their comprehensive ranking system scores fall short, while students and workers already inside Canada rise to the top of the pool. For many, this represents a seismic shift in how opportunities are distributed, forcing potential immigrants to rethink their strategies. The government justifies this move as a way to prioritize those who have already proven their ability to integrate successfully into Canadian society. By focusing on applicants who studied at Canadian institutions or worked for Canadian employers, officials believe they are selecting individuals who require less adjustment and can contribute immediately to the economy. While the logic appears sound, critics argue that it creates an uneven playing field and sidelines talented professionals who could bring global expertise. Families abroad who once saw Canada as an open door to opportunity may now view it as a narrow gateway, reserved mainly for those already inside. The result is a growing sense that Canada's PR system is no longer just about skill but also about location and timing. For future applicants, the strategy must be adaptability. If you are outside Canada, consider options like study permits, provincial nominee programs, or employer-sponsored work permits as stepping stones to gain Canadian experience. Those already living in the country should maximize their time by gaining skilled work experience, improving language scores, and targeting jobs in priority sectors. Keeping an eye on express entry draws and provincial updates will also help applicants time their submissions effectively. While the road to PR is undeniably more competitive in 2025, those who remain flexible, strategic, and persistent can still achieve success. Canada may have raised the bar, but for those ready to rise with it, the dream of building a permanent future there remains within reach. Number 9. Increase in processing fees. A change that may not seem dramatic at first glance but carries serious financial consequences is the increase in processing fees across multiple immigration categories in 2025. Whether you are applying for a study permit, work permit, or permanent residency, you will now be expected to pay higher government charges than in previous years. For instance, families applying together could see their overall costs rise by several $100s, while individual applicants may find that fees for essentials like biometric collection, medical checks, and document verification add up quickly. For international students already paying high tuition fees, these additional expenses feel like a hidden burden that stretches family budgets even further. For workers and families seeking permanent residency, the updated costs mean applicants must be financially prepared long before submitting their applications. The Canadian government explains these increases as a necessary step to cover the growing administrative costs of processing millions of applications each year. With staff shortages and rising demand, immigration offices require more resources to operate effectively. Officials argue that higher fees will allow for better service delivery and faster processing in the long term. Yet many critics disagree, pointing out that despite rising fees, processing times are still slowing down under the new rules. For many applicants from developing countries, the additional costs may represent months of saving, making the process feel less accessible and more exclusive. While Canada continues to position itself as a welcoming nation, the fee hikes are a reminder that immigration is not only about qualifications but also about financial readiness. For anyone planning to apply in 2025, the best advice is to plan financially in advance. Research the full list of fees for your specific visa or permit category and include extras like medical exams, translation services, and document courier charges in your budget. Keep a financial buffer to cover unexpected changes, as the government has hinted that further fee adjustments may happen in coming years. Students should explore scholarships and part-time work opportunities, while families might look into education loans or financial aid to ease the burden. Although frustrating, these increased fees highlight the importance of being organized, financially disciplined, and proactive, ensuring that money does not become the reason your Canadian dream slips away. Number 8. Stricter visitor visa rules. In 2025, one of the most surprising changes is the tightening of visitor visa approvals. For years, Canada welcomed millions of tourists, family visitors, and business travelers, but the new immigration rules have placed these applications under heavier scrutiny. Officers are now required to assess not only whether an applicant intends to visit temporarily but also whether they might attempt to remain in Canada beyond their visa. This concept, often called immigration intent, has become the key reason behind a surge in visitor visa refusals. Applicants with weak ties to their home country, such as limited employment history, low income, or family already living in Canada, are at much greater risk of rejection. For families hoping to attend graduations, weddings, or reunions, the stricter rules are creating heartbreak as many are unable to secure a simple visit. The government explains this shift as part of its strategy to control overstays and ensure visitor visas are used for genuine short-term purposes. Officials argue that too many applicants in the past applied under the visitor category but secretly intended to pursue work or stay permanently, leading to misuse of the system. By tightening rules, Canada hopes to protect the integrity of its immigration programs and prioritize those applying through the correct pathways. However, critics say the new measures unfairly punish genuine travelers, making Canada appear less welcoming. Families separated by borders find it especially frustrating, as the rules create longer separations even for short visits. Business travelers, too, report delays that affect international partnerships and investment opportunities, raising questions about the economic impact of these restrictions. For applicants, the best approach under the 2025 rules is to strengthen proof of ties to their home country. Submitting evidence of employment contracts, property ownership, financial stability, and family responsibilities can help demonstrate that you will return after your trip. Providing a clear and detailed travel plan, such as hotel bookings, event invitations, or conference schedules, also reassures officers of your genuine intent. Applicants should avoid incomplete or vague submissions, as these are more likely to raise red flags. While the new rules certainly make visitor visas harder to obtain, those who prepare carefully, present strong documentation, and remain transparent about their purpose of travel still stand a real chance of securing approval. Number 7. Provincial Nominee Program, PNP, tightening. A critical update in 2025 is the tightening of the Provincial Nominee Program, PNP, which has long been one of the most reliable pathways for immigrants to settle in Canada. Traditionally, provinces had more flexibility in nominating skilled workers to meet their unique labor market needs, but this year, the rules have become much stricter. Provinces are now conducting fewer open draws and focusing heavily on applicants with highly specialized skills that align directly with their economic plans. For example, Ontario is prioritizing STEM graduates, Alberta is targeting healthcare workers, and Saskatchewan is narrowing its focus to trades. This means that applicants with general skills or unrelated work experience may no longer receive invitations, even if they previously qualified under older criteria. The government's reasoning is tied to Canada's economic alignment strategy. By narrowing PNP streams, provinces aim to directly fill job gaps in industries experiencing shortages, ensuring immigrants can quickly integrate into the workforce. While this makes sense from a policy standpoint, it leaves many hopeful applicants in a difficult position. People who invested years gaining Canadian work or study experience may now find themselves excluded simply because their profession is not currently on a priority list. Moreover, the reduced number of open draws means fewer opportunities for applicants outside targeted sectors, turning what was once considered a more accessible route into a highly competitive and selective system. For potential applicants, adapting to these new rules requires strategic planning. Start by researching the specific labor demands of provinces before submitting applications. Tailor your resume and documents to highlight skills that directly match the province's requirements. If your current field is not in demand, consider upskilling through short courses or certifications that align with priority sectors such as healthcare, engineering, or trades. Students aiming for permanent residency through PNP should carefully choose study programs that lead to jobs targeted by provinces. It is also wise to monitor provincial announcements regularly, as labor demands can shift quickly. While the tightening of PNP may reduce opportunities for some, those who stay informed, adapt their career choices, and align with provincial needs still have a powerful chance to succeed in Canada's immigration system. Number 6. Family sponsorship delays. One of the most heartbreaking changes in the 2025 immigration updates is the significant delay in family sponsorship processing times. For years, Canada has been known as a family-friendly country, encouraging immigrants to bring their loved ones and build a new life together. But with the new rules, applicants sponsoring spouses, children, or parents may face longer waiting periods than ever before. While the average processing time once took under a year, reports now suggest that applicants could be waiting 2 to 3 years before approvals are finalized. This not only creates emotional stress but also impacts the mental health of families forced to live apart for extended periods. Imagine parents missing their child's milestones or spouses spending years in different countries despite having submitted all the required documents. This is the new reality in 2025. Officials argue the slowdown is caused by an overwhelming surge of applications combined with limited administrative resources. The government claims it must carefully verify relationships and financial eligibility to prevent fraudulent sponsorships and misuse of the system. While this reasoning may sound logical, genuine families are the ones most affected. Many feel that Canada's promise of keeping families together is slowly becoming more of a challenge than a guarantee. Critics point out that long separation times discourage applicants from choosing Canada, pushing them toward other countries with faster and more flexible sponsorship pathways. For families with young children or elderly parents, these delays can be devastating, turning what was once a smooth process into a period of frustration and uncertainty. For those applying in 2025, it is crucial to prepare thoroughly and avoid mistakes that could cause even further delays. Ensure that all relationship documents, such as marriage certificates, birth records, and photos, are accurate and well organized. Providing strong evidence of ongoing contact, financial support, and genuine family ties can help reduce the risk of additional questioning from officers. Applicants should also be ready for long-distance planning, maintaining strong communication with their loved ones while waiting. Exploring provincial programs or alternative visas might provide temporary solutions for reunification. While the delays are undeniably difficult, families who stay patient, strategic, and persistent can still achieve their dream of building a united future in Canada. Number 5. Priority for skilled workers in certain sectors. Another eye-opening update in Canada's 2025 immigration policy is the clear shift in priority toward specific industries. The government has announced that applications from workers in healthcare, technology, engineering, and skilled trades will now be processed much faster and given higher consideration in immigration draws. This means nurses, doctors, software developers, electricians, and construction workers may find their path to permanent residency significantly smoother compared to applicants in less prioritized fields. On the other hand, individuals with backgrounds in areas like hospitality, retail, or general administration may face longer waits, higher competition, and even fewer invitations to apply. For many applicants, this creates a two-tiered system where some careers are celebrated while others struggle for recognition. The rationale behind this policy is rooted in Canada's urgent labor shortages. With an aging population and rising demand for public services, sectors such as healthcare and technology are experiencing critical gaps. By prioritizing skilled workers in these fields, the government hopes to fill vacancies quickly, support economic growth, and maintain the high standard of living Canadians expect. For example, rural hospitals continue to face a shortage of nurses, while tech hubs in Toronto and Vancouver require more engineers and programmers to compete globally. While this approach benefits Canada's economy, it also raises concerns about fairness. Many applicants who dreamed of immigrating with different career paths may now feel pushed aside despite having valuable skills and aspirations. For those planning to immigrate, the message is clear: align your skills with Canada's demand. If you are in a non-prioritized profession, consider upgrading through short certifications, online courses, or retraining programs that move you closer to high-demand fields. Students should carefully select study programs that lead to jobs on the priority list, increasing their chances of both work permits and permanent residency. Workers with experience in healthcare, trades, or technology should highlight their expertise in resumes and applications, ensuring their profile stands out in competitive draws. This rule may seem like a narrowing of opportunities, but it also presents a golden window for those in the right sectors to secure their Canadian future more quickly and confidently. Number 4. Cap on work permits after graduation. A rule that has left many international students worried in 2025 is the new cap on post-graduation work permits, PGWP. Previously, students who completed eligible programs in Canada could look forward to receiving an open work permit for up to 3 years, allowing them to gain valuable Canadian work experience. Now, the government has introduced restrictions on both duration and eligibility. Certain shorter programs or courses offered by private institutions may no longer qualify for a PGWP at all. Even for students in recognized programs, the length of the permit may be reduced, depending on the province or field of study. This change disrupts the traditional path where students studied, worked after graduation, and then smoothly transitioned into permanent residency through programs like Express Entry. Officials claim the cap is designed to ensure that students are not using Canada solely as a backdoor entry to residency but are instead contributing in sectors where Canada faces labor shortages. For example, programs related to healthcare, engineering, and technology are still favored, while others such as general business diplomas may see limited or no eligibility for post-graduation work. This selective approach is meant to align student intake with Canada's workforce needs, but it creates uncertainty for many who already invested heavily in tuition fees. Imagine completing 2 years of studies only to find that the work permit you were counting on is either shortened or completely unavailable. This is the reality for thousands in 2025. For students planning ahead, the best strategy is to choose programs that are clearly linked to in-demand occupations and offered by designated learning institutions that guarantee PGWP eligibility. Before applying, double-check with official government sources or trusted immigration consultants to confirm the work opportunities available after graduation. Students should also focus on gaining relevant part-time experience during their studies, which can help build a stronger resume in case post-graduation work options are limited. Another useful tip is to explore provincial programs since some provinces may provide additional work pathways for graduates in priority fields. The PGWP cap may feel like a roadblock, but for those who plan wisely and align their education with Canada's long-term goals, it can still serve as a stepping stone toward a successful career and residency. Number 3. Stricter proof of funds. One of the most challenging updates for 2025 is the introduction of stricter proof of funds requirements for students and families moving to Canada. In the past, applicants could show relatively modest savings to convince immigration officers that they could survive in Canada during their studies or initial settlement. But with rising inflation, rent prices, and cost of living, the Canadian government now demands significantly higher bank balances and clearer evidence of financial stability. This means that students must not only show they can pay tuition fees but also demonstrate that they can afford rent, food, transportation, and other essentials for at least 1 year. Families applying together face even higher thresholds, with requirements increasing for each dependent. For many, this rule is proving to be a financial barrier that could delay or even end their Canadian journey. The reasoning behind this shift is rooted in the government's attempt to prevent newcomers from facing financial struggles upon arrival. Officials argue that too many students and immigrants were relying heavily on part-time jobs just to survive, which left them vulnerable and often unable to focus on their studies or settle comfortably. By raising the proof of funds, Canada hopes to attract individuals who are financially prepared, reducing dependency on social services and easing pressure on local communities. However, this policy has also drawn criticism. Many see it as favoring the wealthy, making Canada less accessible to talented students and workers from developing countries. Families who saved for years to send one child abroad may now find the new bar almost unreachable, despite their determination and sacrifice. For applicants, the practical step is clear: start building financial documentation early. Keep savings in stable bank accounts for several months before applying, as sudden large deposits may raise red flags with immigration officers. Explore legitimate scholarships, bursaries, and education loans that can support your application. Students should also ensure their sponsorship letters and bank statements are accurate and verifiable. For workers and families, having clear income records, tax documents, or property assets can strengthen credibility. While stricter, this rule pushes applicants to be better prepared and financially secure, which can ultimately increase their chances of long-term success in Canada. Number 2. Reduced study permit approvals. Another major change shaking the dreams of thousands of students is Canada's decision to reduce study permit approvals in 2025. In recent years, Canada welcomed a record number of international students, but rising housing shortages, tuition concerns, and pressure on local infrastructure have pushed the government to introduce a strict cap. Now, not every eligible applicant will receive a study permit, even if they meet the academic and financial requirements. This means that the competition for seats in Canadian colleges and universities will be tougher than ever, forcing students to apply with stronger applications, higher grades, and more convincing financial documents. Families who were planning to send their children abroad may now face unexpected refusals, leaving them searching for backup options in other countries. The official explanation behind this policy is tied to Canada's efforts to manage population growth and reduce the overwhelming pressure on major cities. Housing costs in cities like Toronto and Vancouver have reached record highs, and critics argue that international students are struggling to find affordable accommodation while also balancing part-time jobs and studies. By limiting approvals, the government hopes to stabilize the system and ensure that only students with clear academic goals and sufficient financial capacity are able to enter. However, for many aspiring learners, this decision feels like an unfair roadblock to their educational dreams. Parents who once viewed Canada as a safe, reliable destination for their children now worry that the door is slowly closing. For students preparing to apply, the strategy moving forward must be precision and planning. Applications need to be carefully prepared with well-documented proof of funds, strong academic performance, and clear study intentions. Instead of applying to multiple institutions without focus, it may now be smarter to target programs that align closely with future career goals, especially in sectors Canada prioritizes such as healthcare, technology, and skilled trades. Strengthening your statement of purpose, ensuring that your documents are error-free, and applying early in the intake cycle will improve your chances of approval. Though these new restrictions may appear discouraging, those who are well-prepared, proactive, and strategic still stand a strong chance of securing their dream spot in Canada's educational system. Number 1. Higher language requirements. One of the most shocking updates in Canada's 2025 immigration rules is the increase in language test requirements. Until now, many applicants could qualify for study permits, work permits, or permanent residency with a moderate IELTS or TEF score, but the new rules push the bar significantly higher. For students, this means that a higher band score is now mandatory to secure admission into colleges and universities. For skilled workers, it means achieving stronger proficiency in English or French before even being considered for immigration. Imagine preparing for months, taking coaching classes, and finally feeling confident, only to find out that the required score has been raised. This is the reality facing millions of applicants in 2025. This shift is rooted in Canada's desire to attract individuals who can integrate quickly into the workforce and contribute to communities without language barriers. Authorities argue that stronger communication skills improve workplace performance, reduce misunderstandings, and help newcomers adjust more smoothly to Canadian culture. While this reasoning makes sense from a national perspective, for many applicants it creates an additional financial and emotional burden. Language coaching costs money, retaking tests multiple times is stressful, and students from non-English speaking countries may find the new benchmarks particularly challenging. The impact is not limited to education. Even permanent residency streams like express entry are now harder to access if language results fall below the tougher threshold. The practical advice for anyone considering Canada in 2025 is simple yet crucial: start preparing early. Don't wait until you receive an invitation or admission offer, begin practicing and improving your language proficiency now. Take advantage of online mock tests, affordable preparation apps, and daily immersion activities such as reading Canadian news, joining English or French discussion groups, and watching educational content in your target language. For workers in high-demand industries like healthcare or technology, strong communication skills can now be the difference between acceptance and refusal. These new language rules may feel like a barrier, but for those willing to adapt and strengthen their skills, they can also be seen as a gateway to long-term success in Canada. Canada's immigration system in 2025 is undergoing some of the biggest transformations in decades, and millions of people around the world are feeling the impact. From higher language requirements and reduced study permits to stricter proof of funds and longer sponsorship delays, the path to building a life in Canada has become far more competitive. While these changes may seem discouraging, they also highlight the importance of being prepared, adaptable, and strategic. Applicants who align their careers with Canada's labor needs, strengthen their financial documentation, and carefully plan their applications will still find opportunities to succeed. These new rules reveal one important truth: immigration is no longer just about dreams, it's about timing, preparation, and persistence. Canada may have raised the bar, but it remains a destination full of possibilities for those who are ready to meet the challenge. Whether you are a student, a skilled worker, or a family looking to reunite, understanding these changes is the first step toward turning your Canadian dream into reality. Which of these new rules shocked you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments, we'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to check out our previous video for more insights into Canada's immigration trends. We put a lot of effort into bringing you these updates, so please support us with a quick subscribe. It's just one click, but it means the world to us.